Hello folks, welcome back to the Addicted Bookworm, and today we're going to be talking about audiobooks and about how sometimes they don't actually keep a person engaged in the book. This sometimes happens, not all the time, but sometimes it happens. So audiobooks are narrated by people, sometimes they're celebrities like the guy who played Spike on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, does the narration for the Dresden Files. You have a lot of other ones. Sometimes you have authors that do it. Like I tried my hand at it, and I find that I don't have a talent in it. Um, and so they get paid money. Though I will say the whole thing with Audible is going to screw them over. Thank God they have other forms of income besides that. But anyways, so earlier this year, I had been a part of the Barnes& and Noble audiobook club, and this is very different than Audible. It has the same premise as Audible, where you get a credit each month, and you can use that. You can use that for audiobooks, unless they say on the website it's not for. You can't use your coin to get it. Sometimes authors will demand payment and you can't use your credit for it. Like the first Law trilogy, I could not buy it on a credit. I had to buy it with money, which I was fine with. So anyways, so when we talk about audiobooks, as I said, I got the audiobook for The Red Queen because I had heard things about people saying that it was it had ripped off Powerless, even though Red Queen had been published before Powerless, which in the realm of copyright law, that is not possible. In the realm of reality, that's not possible. Um, and so I decided to check it out, and I got it on audiobook because I had a credit and I didn't have any money. This is what happens when you have no money. You get an audiobook credit. So anyways, so I listened to it, and I thought the world building was unique and interesting. And I was like, I'm gonna listen to it, and when I get to the end of the book, I will do a review of it. Unfortunately, I got to the scene where, she's been discovered that she's got powers, like got magical powers, and so she's going to be forced to masquerade as a silver. And after that, I stopped listening to it. I absolutely was like, no. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was because of my job at Five Guys, but in the end of it, I just stopped listening to it. So, I think it was a week ago, might be a week and a half ago, I don't even remember. I had been given an email about reduced or free ebooks, and I am like, oh, okay, great, let's see what they have, because this is how I know that my Kindle TBR is never going to go down, because I keep on getting free ebooks. And sure enough, they had the entire Red Queen series for essentially $2, and I'm like, dang. So I decided to get it, and I had totally forgotten what chapter I was on. Then I got to I think it was chapter 8, and I saw the scene that I had left. So I was like, okay, I'm on chapter 9. So I'm now on chapter 11. And I'm like, yeah, the ebook is very different than the audiobook. And I'm not talking about because it's two different mediums. I am talking about how I was able to stay engrossed in the book. And I am now, so basically she's had to accept being betrothed to the Spare, and then you have this bride-to-be who's going to become queen after the prince's parents die, and she is determined to ensure that everyone knows that she's a red, that this woman is a red and not a silver. Personally, that would probably mean she would end up being killed for it, but it's a dystopian world, dystopian fantasy world. So we're going to see what happens. But at the end of, when I get to the halfway point of each book, especially if I decide to get them as physical editions, I will make a decision if I'm going to make it as a physical edition. If I do make it as can't talk. If I decide to get them as physical editions, then that's going to be good. That's going to be good. Anyways, but yeah, some audiobook narrators can't do it. This narrator could not do it, and I just will be reading all the books on ebook and get them as physical copies at some point. But anyways, I just wanted to come on here and basically talk about that because it annoys me that sometimes you have audiobook narrators that can do a great job. You have some audiobook narrators that kill a book before it really gets interesting. Another thing I want to add is I am halfway through Smiling Corpses by Blair Daniels. This is 3 novellas in the book. And so far it has been really interesting. And yeah, I will have this book read. I will have this book read today, and I will give a review later on. So until then, see you guys in the next video. Bye.